Hi, good day. Today we are going to discuss about language disorder. Language disorder. Language disorders or language impairments are disorders that involve the processing of linguistic information. Disorders means that it is a problem, while a language it is a system or combination of symbols used to convey ideas and understand others. Later on, we will know what are the types of language disorders. Language disorders, problem that may be experienced can involve grammar. Grammar means the whole system and structure of a language, while syntax, it is a structure of words in a sentence. Under of the grammar, we have three: morphology, phonology, and semantics. Morphology stands for study of form of words. Phonology tells us what sounds are in a language, how they do, and can combine into words. And semantics, it is a studies of logical aspects of meaning, such as sense, reference, implication, and logical form. Receptive language disorder. Receptive language disorder is the understanding of language input. Receptive language means the ability to understand and comprehend language heard or read. So makita na to sa picture nga ang mama iyang gipabasa ang iyang anak. So from the word input, it means everything heard or read by the child. And since the child kay naa man siya'y receptive language disorder, he will be having a difficulty in understanding the message from others. In general, receptive language disorders, it means that what we understand. Expressive language disorder. Expressive language disorder is a communication disorder in which there are difficulties with spoken or written expression. Expressive language is most simply the output of language. Opposite ni sila sa receptive language disorder. So, this picture represents that a child is thinking or having a difficulty to express his ideas through spoken or written. Basically, since the child kinaman ani nga disorder, he don't know the grammar rule that indicate how words are combined into phrases, sentences, and paragraphs, as well as the use of gestures and facial expression.
Speech disorder or speech impediment are type of communication disorder where normal speech is disrupted. This can mean stuttering, lisp, and etc. Someone who is unable to speak due to a speech disorder is considered mute. A speech disorder is a condition in which a person has problem creating or forming the speech sound needed to communicate with others. This can make the child's speech difficult to understand. Communication disorder. A communication disorder is any disorder that affects somebody's ability to communicate. A communication disorder is any disorder that affects individuals' ability to comprehend, detect, or apply language and speech to engage in discourse effectively with others. Types of language disorder. sensory impairment, apraxia, dyslexia, dysgraphia, stuttering, Down syndrome, autism, and ADHD. Types of language disorder. The first one is sensory impairment. Sensory impairment is when one of your senses, sight, hearing, smell, touch, taste, and spatial awareness is no longer normal. Sensory impairment is the common term used to describe deafness, blindness, visual impairment, hearing impairment, and deaf blindness. And in this case, the child has hearing impairment. Sensory impairment can have a major impact on other aspects of child's development, particularly in communication and social interaction. The child may use sign language as a way to communicate with others. Apraxia. Apraxia is a general term. It can cause problems in parts of the body, such as arm and legs. Apraxia of speech is a motor speech disorder. It is caused by damage to the parts of the brain related to speaking. If you have an apraxia, you will have problems saying sounds correctly. This may cause you to say something very different than what you meant. You may even make up words. For example, you may say chicken instead of kitchen. People with apraxia of speech find it challenging to talk and express themselves through speech.
Types of language disorders. Number 3. Dyslexia. Dyslexia or developmental reading disorder is characterized by difficulty with learning to read fluently and with accurate comprehension despite normal or above average intelligence. So, best example is kaning a picture. A child is complicated in comprehending what he read and having difficulty to recognize spell and decode words. Types of language disorder. Number 4. Dysgraphia. The word dysgraphia comes from Greek words dys means impaired and graphic means writing by hand. Dysgraphia is a deficiency in the ability to write, primarily in the term of handwriting, but also in terms of coherence. So, since ang child na ani nga impairment, it is a challenge for him to write. Since he has dysgraphia, it tend to have trouble with spelling because it is hard for them to form words when they write. Of language disorder. Number 5. Stuttering. Stuttering is a speech disorder in which sounds, syllables, or words are repeated or prolonged, disrupting the normal flow of speech. So, kani understandable ra kay siya. So, let us read the conversation between the boy and the girl. So, the girl said, "Hi, my name is So, probably, the girl repeated and prolonged the word which distract the normal flow of the conversation. So, a child nga naani nga impairment kay nga magsigig repeat sa word og i-prolong kay naa siya'y stuttering nga disorder.
Down syndrome is a genetic abnormality. These syndromes occur because an extra copy of chromosomes 21. Your chromosomes contain your genetic material, and any problems with your chromosomes can cause serious physical and mental health problems. Based on what I've seen on the people who have Down syndrome, their physical features are flatter face and upward slanting eyes. They may have medical problems too, such as heart defects. And also, a people with Down syndrome usually have a trouble learning and are slower to learn how to talk and take care of themselves. But even though people with Down syndrome might act and look similar, each person has different abilities. Autism is a neurodevelopmental characterized by impaired social interaction, verbal and nonverbal communication, and by restricted repetitive behavior. What I've learned about the autism spectrum, it is a kind of a disorder that is caused by the abnormalities in brain structure or function. I have seen a few persons has this kind of disease and they were performing an abnormal mentality behavior and abilities like hand flopping, rocking, jumping, or twirling. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder or ADHD is the one of the most common childhood disorder can continue through adolescence and adulthood. Symptoms include difficulty staying focused and paying attention, difficulty controlling behavior, and hyperactivity or overactivity. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder or ADHD. This kind of disorder is one of the most common mental disorder affecting most of the children nowadays. A person or children with ADHD may have trouble in paying attention, controlling impulsive behaviors, and they act without thinking about what the result will be or be overly active.